Munchies, I've got another 3-2-1 dinner meal prep for you today. I shared them all month long back in January, and I have got more for you now. If you don't know, my 3-2-1 system is something I created to simplify your meal prep. You take inspiration from 3 main ingredients to keep it easy. You create 2 different dinners with those ingredients so you have some variety, and then the entire prep process should take only 1 hour. I have an entire ebook with these 3-2-1 inspiration ideas giving you specific recipes, grocery lists, and exactly what you need to do on prep day to get everything done quickly and efficiently. It's available at mindovermunch.com/ebooks, or it is free if you are enrolled in my Meal Prep Ignite course. Today's 3 ingredients for inspiration are spaghetti squash, Italian sausage, and mushrooms. I try to include a protein, vegetable, and carb typically as my structure. Spaghetti squash and mushrooms both sort of exist as vegetables and healthy carbs today in this example. With those 3 main ingredients, we are creating 2 very different meals: a spaghetti squash pizza casserole and breakfast for dinner spaghetti squash boats. The first thing to do on prep day is cook up the spaghetti squash. I prefer to microwave them for a few minutes so that they're easier to cut in half. This will soften them a bit. Be sure to use a fork to poke holes into your squash before microwaving to prevent it from exploding. Once microwaved, I can cut them in half and scoop out the seeds and guts and get them onto a tray for baking. I keep it simple, brushing them down with oil and a sprinkle of salt, or you can add pepper or any other seasonings that you prefer too. Face down on the tray, into the oven they go until tender. In the meantime, I tackle my mushrooms. Feel free to buy pre-sliced mushrooms to cut down on a step on prep day. It is up to you, of course. I add oil and onions to a pot with my mushrooms and cook those for a few minutes to let them reduce. Once reduced, I transfer them to a separate bowl, and now in the same pot, I add in my sausage. I let that cook up in bigger chunks at first, and then break it up as it browns. This is gonna add more flavor overall and requires less monitoring. Once that sausage is cooked through, I add my mushrooms and onions back into the pot, mix to integrate, and set aside. The beautiful thing about this example I'm sharing today is that the mushroom and sausage mixture contains 2 of our 3 inspiration ingredients, and I cook them together. I am actually going to divide this exact mixture into our 2 very different dinners. My squash are now out of the oven, and when they're fork tender, you can shred them with a fork and you're good to go. For the casserole, I do just that. I add the spaghetti squash strands and some tomato or pizza sauce to a casserole dish, and then on top of that, I add the meat and mushroom mixture, folding it all together to combine. I love to add a little Italian seasoning for pizza flair, and top it off with a layer of tomato sauce, cheese, of course, it is pizza after all, as well as some black olives, but you could use any pizza toppings you'd like. Now, you can actually store this as is, meal prepped, for 2 days in the fridge if you want to eat it fresh during the week. You just bake it when you want it. Or you can cook it on prep day and then reheat it. It goes into the oven until heated and melty, and it's ready to eat or store. It is so tasty and filled with pizza flavor without all of the refined grains. Spaghetti squash does not exactly substitute pasta for me, but it is a great vessel to hold almost any flavor profile, so you can do a lot with it and make some of your favorite dishes healthier in flavor using spaghetti squash as a base. For my remaining spaghetti squash halves, I add in that sausage and mushroom mixture and fold it in to combine, and then I add a little cheese on top and store them as is until I need them during the week. When I'm ready to cook dinner on a weeknight, I simply add them to a tray, use a spoon to make a little well in the center, crack an egg in there, and bake it up. It reheats the squash and at the same time gives it breakfast goodness with the egg. Feel free to top it off with hot sauce, green onion, or fresh herbs. For me, meal prepping only works if it's simple, if I don't have to eat the same thing every single day, and if I can eat some fresh meals. I just can't do leftovers every day. This kind of meal prep system does all of that for me. I love it, and you could easily add even more variety to this if you really wanted. Get creative. I hope you found some inspiration from this video. Feel free to check out my 3-2-1 meal prep recipes ebook for all of the recipes, grocery lists, and meal prep plans, which will give you the order to cook everything in. I will send you the grocery list alone for free if you want, using the link in the description. Remember though, my Meal Prep Ignite students do get all of that for free, so if you're already enrolled, do not buy it again. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'll be back soon with another episode, and remember, it's all a matter of mind over munch.